Hello and welcome back to Practice Insider's Edge. My name is Dr. Derek Barron.
Hi, and I'm Terry Barron.
We really want to welcome you back to our video series again. And as we kick off 2021, which we believe truly is the year of possibilities for you and your practice, we want to talk about a few things, and specifically something that is going to be an opportunity to drive patients into your practice. And there's no better way to do it than the beginning of the year. So what are we going to dig into here a little bit for them?
Well, today we're going to dig into growing and scaling your practice, right? We all should want to do that, but we want to throw out some challenges to you to make sure that as you jump into this new year of 2021, that you recognize that you truly have unlimited possibilities for growing and scaling your practice. And why not take off now, at the beginning of the year? So before we encourage you on how to take some steps to grow and scale your practice, let's just reflect on what happens if we don't take any action steps. What if we just feel comfortable where we are right now with our practice?
Yeah, the worst case scenario would be for you to be back here on January something of 2022 stating, boy, I wish I would have taken them up on that information or taken, the action steps I needed to advance myself and my practice forward so I become the community leader. What would happen if you didn't take action? So it's more of, hate to say it, but it's the negativity. If you don't take action, what can happen?
And so you hit on the three main points. You're going to stay stagnant, right? If you're not going to take any action, we know in healthcare, in medicine, in science, if you're not growing, you're dying. There's really you don't really get that option of staying stagnant. It's really a slow death.
Same thing for your patients in a care plan.
Exactly,
if they're not getting better, they're not happy. If your practice isn't growing, you're not going to be happy either.
So stagnant is where some practice owners feel that or are going to be if they feel they don't need to take any action to grow or scale their practice. The next step or the next downside might be just the fact that you're going to struggle. It's been a tough year. 2020 was tough. It's behind us, right? But if we say we're good, status quo is fine, we got over that hump, we're still going to have some struggles that we're not working on the growth part.
And just in case you're paying attention to the audio on this, I am not a ventriloquist. It is our dog barking in the background. Her name is Scarlett. Apparently 2021, she wants to be on the video. So not a ventriloquist. She's just barking in the background for us. So,
and finally, we'll come back to focus. What happens if we're not going to grow and scale our practice? The worst case scenario, and your patients always want to know what is the worst case scenario if I choose not to do this type of care with you, is that there could be failure, right? And we don't want failure for any of our clients, any of our potential clients. But if you choose not to take some steps to grow and or scale your practice, failure is unfortunately something that could happen.
So on the flip side, what is it that we can do? What is it you can do? What is it potentially that we can help you with? So of course, the simplest thing that's very complex in how you're doing it is increasing your patients, the number of patients that have come in the door. And the best part about that is the more patients that come in through your door, the better of a community leader you will be in, because you will have helped more people. You will end up getting more reviews from patients in your practice. You will be seen and heard from more people talking at the coffee shop when we get out there into the public. More people are at sporting events talking to one another when they say wearing a shirt from your practice. In ours, it was Integrity Sports Medicine. So people would have our Integrity shirt on. I did it with integrity. You want those people to see that you're out there leading in the community. So the more people that you can help, the greater it is. And you have, a lot more success in the practice and for your patients as well.
And don't forget, if all of this goes hand in hand, if you do take action steps to grow and scale your practice, like Derek said, you're not going to just see more patients. You're going to help more people. You're going to have success. And what falls in place with that is you're going to have increased revenue, which Absolutely. That might not be your driving goal. It usually isn't. As healthcare,
it should be.
As healthcare business owners, we all need to have an increase in revenue. That's probably why you got into owning your own practice, was that you had a desire to be able to have some control over your revenue. And so if you do take these action steps in moving forward with growing and scaling your practice, you will see results with increased revenue. So those are the upsides that we want to mention.
So now let's talk a little bit about the how. So the how really is, in order to grow and scale your practice, we have, designed something to help starting when it was back in our practice, years ago, but with our clients that we have, it's called the practice leverage method. We've spoken to you about that. I'm going to share a screen with you and we'll kind of talk behind this just a little bit about how we can actually start to help you in growing that. And this is really the how to go about that. So you can see on the screen here, it's called the practice leverage method. There are 4 components to it. I guess 4 horizontal sections if you look at it. But one thing that stands out that everybody says is, what's with the red thing and the green thing? And that red thing is a brain or your mindset. And that green thing is, in other words, wherever you're at once you start, we want you to be able to get to the next level. So it deals with mindset. And we all know, typically for us, how we've dealt with this and the mentors that we've had is it starts with your thoughts on the very top of this diagram. It leads in your feelings, your actions, your results, your beliefs, and your identity. But it all comes back from the stories that you've been telling yourself, or people in your community have said about you, or your parents have said about you, or a professor has said about you. You've got to drop all of that. Start off 2021 with a positive, optimal outlook for your practice. So we'll talk about this inside of the practice leverage method, but we always come back to the fact that as a clinician, you're going to advance into a CEO along the way. So we'll jump back here into the practice leverage method again. So on the very bottom.
Oh, I'm going to cut you off there just to remind everyone when we're talking about that mindset shift, that we want our clinicians not necessarily to drop every story that they have and start over in 2021. Hopefully you have a lot of positive stories. What we want you to recognize is that you get to frame what your story is. You get to do your own self-talk and frame what could have been a negative, but you can frame it from how you learned from it, right? We talked about it in our last video that we don't have failures. We have challenges that we learn from. So when it comes to your mindset and shifting it, we want you to take your base foundation of good stories and we want you to build from there. And we want to help you reframe any negative stories so that you're getting a positive experience out of what might have happened. And those stories may have been fed to you by all of the different people that Derek said could have touched your life, but it's still your option to reframe them. So when we are working with our clients in Practice Insider's Edge, and we're taking you through this practice leverage method or system or process, we are addressing that mindset and we are helping you to reframe those stories and to change your self-talk so that it becomes positive in all aspects. So just wanted to put that little extra in there, that little correction.
So along the way, you will change. And you can see that within this, each and every step does have a little bit of a brain that's in there. And that's our mindset that might be changing. So I want to talk about the 4 components. On the very bottom here, we have the practice foundation. And what that really is, and we'll go deeper into this in videos to come, but shortly is, do you have a good Google Maps presence? Do you have a 5-star reputation? That just doesn't mean 1, 3, or 5 reviews. Do you have more reviews than your competition in your community? Do you have a website that generates leads for you and is mobile optimized? And of course, do you have a social media presence? Are you doing videos? Are you doing Instagram? Are you using Facebook? All of those things are important to build your practice's foundation that leads into the next portion, which is the
patient foundation, right? And as healthcare private practice business owners, we feel like we've got this covered. We know all about taking care of patients, or we probably wouldn't be a private practice business owner at this point. However, there is a lot of tweaking to making sure that you know who your perfect patient is and how you're designing the message to attract that perfect patient and how you're designing and delivering what it is that you do to help that perfect patient. And a lot of clients, a lot of private practice healthcare business owners in general out there want to cast that wide net and say, we can treat everything from grandkids to grandchildren. And we want
grandkids to grandparents.
I'm sorry, grandkids to grandparents. I'm more the from infant to the elderly. So regardless, and that's fine. We don't ever redirect clients. That you can't say that you treat everybody in an age spectrum. However, there is a perfect patient, and we definitely want to help you define that when it comes to growing your practice. We want you to be able to work with the patients that you really, really, really want to work with. And there is a technique and there is some art to how you attract those perfect patients. So just turning on the switch to increase marketing, there's a lot of things that need to happen in a method, a process, a system like we have in the practice leverage method so that you get the right type of patients to get what is going to continue to help you flourish in your mindset, in your heart, and your soul, so that you're not going to get that burnout of being a private practice healthcare business owner. So patient foundation is a lot more crucial than a lot of our clients recognize. And maybe you're great with it, and we're not going to spend a lot of time with you on that if you already really have that. But we have found through experience, a lot of our clients don't realize how important that level is, that phase of this system. So we do spend some time on that second phase.
Yeah, it's important because we want you, if in your practice you enjoy treating athletes, we want to actually focus in and go after a specific athlete, whether it's male or female, whether it's CrossFit, whether it's a runner, a baseball player. Maybe you are a pelvic floor physical therapist. Maybe you are a chiropractor that specializes in migraine headaches or knee pain or shoulder pain. We want to create a perfect patient foundation for that, because it leads into the third level, going from the bottom to the top, called practice drivers. What's important about the practice drivers is you are going to create a lead magnet that will attract that specific ideal patient. You will then build trust and authority with those types of patients, and then you will learn how to convert them in a specific way in which we do to help you bring it in. Now, most other marketers out there, mentors and coaches, are really going to talk to you about this thing on the very top here called Patients on Demand. That's marketing. We are 100% into marketing. You have to be into marketing for your practice. But if you don't have your practice foundation set up, if you don't have an ideal patient foundation set up, and if you're not driving them in, it really doesn't matter if you turn on your marketing systems. You have to have the foundation set up first in order to move forward. And then we'll talk to you about content mastery and retargeting roadmap. If you're creating any kind of marketing, you must be retargeting the people you go after, so you're not wasting your money. So that deals with the practice accelerators. So I'm going to come back here to the main screen here for us. Come on, mouse, where are you? So that leads us into one little thing that we want you to potentially take some action with moving forward here in 2021 with us.
Right. So we have created a challenge for you, a place where you can actually start to take some action. And we have created a private Facebook group page for you, and it is called the Patient Challenge.
Yeah, and the Patient Challenge is literally that. It's a 12-week program. We're here to get new patients for you, and we're here to pack your practice. The goal of this is for you to build your practice, filling it with the ideal patients that you want over a 12-week time frame, in order for you to, after Q1, starting to build and potentially double and triple the amount of new patients to come into your practice. So if that's something that you're interested in, we'd love it for you to drop below in the comments or send us a message, just the word patients. I'm going to come back here into the screen so you see both of us. Sorry, mouse, where'd you go again? So as we always say, if you are a private practice healthcare business owner and you're looking to grow and scale your practice, specifically about what we talked about today, and in this little subject line here that you can see, let me see if I go this way, it says the Patient Challenge. If you are interested in finding out how you can use parts of the practice leverage method to bring in more new patients as you start out 2021, we'd love to help you along the way.
So thank you for tuning in and spending the beginning of your first week of January 2021 with us at Practice Insiders Edge. Again, if you've got questions about this Patient Challenge, if you've got interest, curiosity about any of these components, our practice leverage method is quite an extensive system. We don't mean to overwhelm when we spend time with you. We like to share, but we recognize that because it's natural for us, it may be a little overwhelming for you. So please message us, put again something in the comments so we can, in the comments here, so that we can reach out to you. And we really look forward to continuing to build our relationship with you throughout this year of 2021, where we have unlimited possibilities for the growth and scaling of practices.
Thank you again. Appreciate your time.